Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Delia Valles Rosales, and I work for Texas A&M University in Kingsville. And I am with the NSF HSI STEM Resource Hub. I co-host this webinar series along with Dr. Marta Desmond, and she is at New Mexico State University. I would like to welcome you to our first webinar series in this spring 2024. And we are focusing on celebrating and learning from successful NSF HSI awardees. This afternoon, our topic is promoting success in student transitions from lower to upper division coursework. A little bit of housekeeping before we start this webinar. We have 1 hour for this webinar, and this afternoon we have 2 speakers. And after their presentations, we will have around 15 to 20 minutes available for questions at the end of the presentations. If, in case there are more questions than the time that we have available, we will be posting those the answers to those questions at the end I think it's in our website, and I will let you know what the website is about. At the end of the 2 presentations, we will have Dr. Marta Desmond and we will be curating the questions, and we will actually have a portal where we are going to be posting the recording of this webinar available for you. As you leave the webinar, we really want you to answer a survey. This survey is actually for 2 purposes. One of them is for the evaluation of the webinars, and the other one is for the purpose of the NSF reporting period. One of the things that is important that you know is that we have a really good number of attendees in the past webinars, and really this will be this one and next webinars are our last webinars of the webinar series. So we really encourage you to be attending this webinar and the last webinar as well. This afternoon, it is my pleasure to introduce the 2 speakers. Our first speaker will be actually Dr. Ocampo, and the second speaker will be Dr. Sarah COREY-RIVAS. But let me introduce you to Dr. Sarah COREY-RIVAS. And she is a professor at New Mexico HIGHLANDS University, and she's an associate professor in biology. She earned a bachelor's degree in zoology, and she also got a PhD in evolution and ecology at the University of Ohio State University. She's a long-time instructor of introductory biology courses and enjoys teaching lower and upper level undergraduate and master level biology courses. She's a molecular ecologist who studies conservation genomics of threatened amphibian and reptile species. Her current research investigates the synergistic effects of climate change, pathogens, and hybridization of New Mexico species of concern. She is the lead PI on the Somos STEM NSF HSI grant at New Mexico HIGHLANDS University, and that has created a new curriculum and faculty professional development opportunities to provide place-based and cultural responsive early STEM student experiences. She collaborates with Somos STEM co-PIs on a longitudinal 5 years mixed methods research study to determine how the program supports psychosociology development, meaning a science identity, self-belonging, and self-efficacy, as well as success of STEM students. Dr. Juan Ocampo, he is a distinguished researcher, educator, and mentor at the University of St. Mary's University. He is an associate professor in engineering. Among several things that he is doing, he is actually a key contributor of 3 Federal Aviation Administration grants, totaling of $3.5 million. Dr. Ocampo focuses on enhancing aircraft component safety. He played a pivotal role in the development of the Digital Twin Project in partnership with the Northrop Grumman Corporation and the U.S. Air Force. As a member of the Consortium for Nuclear and Security Technologies called CONNECT, funded by NNSA Minority Serving Institution Partnership Programs, Dr. Ocampo bridges connections between energy sites, laboratories, and minority serving institutions in STEM. He recently secured an NSF grant to improve the STEM education at Hispanic serving institutions, aiming to boost Latinx students in their baccalaureate degree attainment. His efforts gained about $1.7 million funding at the University of St. Mary's University, facilitating research and opportunities for minority serving students. Welcome, Dr. Ocampo and Dr. COREY-RIVAS to this webinar, and please go ahead and start your presentation. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Valles, and thank you so much, Dr. Desmond. So I will start first. So I'm going to share my screen. And Dr. Valles, can you give me thumbs up if you can see it?
I see it, yes.
Okay, so thank you so much. So this is an honor for me to be here today to share our experiences here at St. Mary's University and my partner institution, which is Northwest Vista College. Our project is called Fuerte, Strong, which stands for Fostering Undergrad Education, Retention, and Transfer Environments. And again, my name is Juan Ocampo. I'm an associate professor of mechanical engineering, and I also serve as the chair of engineering here at St. Mary's University. So this project, Fuerte, as I mentioned, is in conjunction with Northwest Vista College, which is part of the Alamo College District here in San Antonio. But you may be wondering, like, who's St. Mary's University? So St. Mary's is located here in beautiful San Antonio, Texas. It was founded in 1852 by the Marianist brothers, and it's a 4-year private Catholic Marianist institution that is also a liberal arts school. It was the first Catholic university in the state of Texas. We are proudly an Hispanic serving institution. We enroll around 3,500 students, and from those students, around 2,300 are undergrad students. So we are the primary awardee on this grant, but we have our sub-award, which is Northwest Vista College, which is located 3 miles from St. Mary's University. It was founded in 1995. It's a 2-year public community college that is open enrollment. It's also a proud Hispanic serving institution, with an enrollment of around 12,700 students, but it is part of the Alamo College District here in San Antonio, which enrolls around 64,000 students. So you can see all the impact that NSF is giving us the opportunity to have in this grant. So a little bit about St. Mary's demographics. So we are a primary HSI institution. In my opinion, this number is a little bit higher when I see our demographics, but we are around 55% Hispanic students, 22% white. We have 9% that don't answer, 7% international, with a big presence from Central American, South American students. This is our leadership team. I will not be able to do this study and this grant without the big support of my colleagues here. So Dr. Rick Sperling, he's here in psychology at St. Mary's University, and he's leading all the research part and all the research questions that we're trying to answer in this grant that is about what generates persistence of the students, what makes the students to transfer to a 4-year institution, how we can put science, identity, self-efficacy on the students. So looking at how doing all these interventions that you will see, how we help to improve these metrics. And our amazing partners at Northwest Vista College, so Dr. Thomas Presley from engineering, and Dr. Mary Socki from mathematics, and again, myself and the PI on this project, Juan Ocampo. So a little bit about the outline for this grant or for this presentation. So I would like to present first a project summary and then some lessons that we have been learning during year 2, and we are finishing year 2, but mainly from year 1. We divide this in different objectives or or aims, which we're going to be going one by one. And then I'm going to do some conclusions. And usually when I have more time, I do a small workshop, but I'm not going to do that one today, given the 15 minutes that we have for this presentation. So in the big picture, first I want to mention every single picture that you will see on this presentation is our students and it's our faculty. So we didn't take those pictures from the internet. Those are actually from our project. So what is this project looking for? So this project aims to increase Latinx students that earn an STEM degree by addressing the barriers that they face, okay? Some of the goals that we have in this project includes to have transfer pathways, so that's our aim number one, culturally responsive classrooms, facilitating student progression, and building STEM competency, okay? So I would like to go one by one by each of these objectives that we have in this project. So number one, and I'm very proud of this one. So one of the significant barriers that students have when they are trying to transfer from a 2 years to a 4-year institution is the lack of degree articulation agreement. So many of the students, they may take a literature class in a community college, they may take a math class, but because there is no transfer agreement, those classes get lost, and many of the institutions, they don't accept those classes. So we embark in a 2-year journey where we start creating like these pathways and transfers where the student can see any class that they take in the Alamo colleges. Remember that they enroll 64,000 students in the San Antonio area. So every class that they take during the first 2 years, they can transfer those classes into St. Mary's University. So I'm showing here an example of mechanical engineering, and you can see that the only class that doesn't transfer is an intro class that we have as a fundamentals of mechanical engineering to increase retention. So we want all our students to take that class. So we want the students also, when they transfer, to take this class. But you can see that it's a fully transferable 2 years degree. But this wasn't easy. It took us a lot of work. And here, like some of the lessons that we learned here, the first thing is talk to your leadership, talk to your chairs, to deans, associate deans, provost, identify your team of experts, talk to all your faculty, gather materials like a degree plan, syllabus, start building trust. So that was the most important part. Many times, we as university professors, we don't believe that community colleges are teaching at the same rigorosity that we teach at the university level, which is something that is not true. So we need to start building those trusts, taking a look to the assessment, taking a look to the syllabus, and be able to compare between those two. So what we did is we facilitated small group meetings to review course description, syllabus, assessments, and in that way to start finding the classes that needed to be modified or the classes that didn't need to be modified in order to be fully transferable. So where we are right now, so we were able to finish this project. We developed all the transfer agreement guidelines. We went through the approval process. We are sharing through the website. That's where we are right now. We are uploading all these into the Alamos College transfer equivalences. So our students that they are transferring to St. Mary, they can click in this link and they can see exactly which classes that they are taking over there will transfer and which classes they need to take in order to progress at St. Mary's University. And this took us 2 years. So we're very proud of this first effort. The second one is creating culturally responsive classrooms environments. So as part of Fuerte, faculty at NBC and St. Mary's attend the workshop that focus on culturally responsive in the classroom, including staff members and leadership of St. Mary's and Northwest Vista College. And we also open it to all the Alamo colleges. Up to today, we have trained more than 100 faculty and staff members from both institutions. We have 4 facilitators at NBC and St. Mary's University that we were able to build capacity and in that way be able to continue developing these workshops in the future. For year 3, we're going to be working on culturally responsive, but based on students. So now we're going to offering these workshops to our students. Some of the activities, I'm going to pass very quick through these ones. So faculty took what we learned into these trainings. Students developed the PIXA identity to celebrate their different identities. We don't do this just for a few of the majors. We do this for STEM majors, for other majors at St. Mary's University. We also create class activities where we can enhance or we can celebrate the cultural wealth that the students have. For example, the linguistics. So we have a student that they are excellent in TikTok. So this is in one of my classes. So I asked them to explain engineering concepts like how a gearbox, how a level works, or how a water pump works using TikTok videos.
This is what happens without a proper.
So I'm going to pass this one. We also create activities where students can do like a representation about their cultural wealth, their dreams, who they are. So I'm going to go very quick through these ones. I love this one because this is one of my students. He mentioned, right now I'm juggling 3 things, like what is my family, like what is the things that I enjoy, like my faith, going to the gym, playing the sports, and also like camping and going outdoors. So now that I'm coming to college, I'm ready to bring this other ball and learn like how to juggle for. And this one is like my dreams, that is to be an aerospace engineer and also like studying. This one, this is a mechanical engineering testing thing. So this is to ensure like how I have like all the pressure, all the anxiety, all the things that happens that are trying to break me down, but I have all these things around, which is my family, my sports and everything, my Hispanic heritage that help me to keep like this part together. Also, I have this biomedical engineer. She's from Peru. She did this drawing, by the way. So she mentioned like, this is where I want to be. This is the things that keep me together. And this is the things that are trying to take me apart, which is like anxiety, procrastination. So we celebrate these things in the classroom and we learn about the students. Paloma, my other student, so she wanted to be a roller coaster design in mechanical engineering. So she did her life journey through this roller coaster across the United States. Also, we facilitate the student progression. So we have academic, career and advising, financial aid, advising and scholarships, STEM learning communities. So for example, the students come for summer research. They can join our Society of Hispanic Professional Engineers, Society of Women Engineers. So students from the Northwest Vista College, they visit our campus and they are able like to join these organizations and start having this sense of belonging through our campus. So as I mentioned, they visit our industry panels, they present the research here at St. Mary's, and also they join our student organizations. We invite these MVC students and Alamo students to our students info sections. Students that transfer to St. Mary's, they go to Northwest Vista to talk to the students about what is to be in a 4th-year institution. We have like a financial aid section for the students and parents. And one thing that we start doing this year, thanks to this grant, is we start translating all the financial aid and admission process into Spanish, by in Spanish that is a middle school level, so all parents can go read it, understand it, and make informed decisions when they're deciding to continue the path into St. Mary's University. Something that I want you to check here is, let me get my laser a little bit. We have this also for parents. So we have 2 of the parents here during the financial aid sections. Our aim number 4 is to build competency in STEM. So we want to increase academic self-efficacy, improve attributional tendencies, so less self-blaming. So how we do this, we help students like to do internships and to do summer research experiences, even when they're freshmen at the community college. This one, as aim number 1, was very difficult. During our first summer, we only have 2 companies that help us to place 3 students out of the 15 that we have. So in order to continue offering these opportunities, we place all the other students in summer research experiences, but many of these students, they wanted to get the industry experience. So for year 2, we partnered with the St. Mary's Career and Professional Development Center. And through this process, we developed a timeline to invite the companies to participate. So we start creating like this partnership between the universities and St. Mary's. We hold like an employee info session. We invite them for a lunch where we execute our MOUs. We start doing like the student placement, and we have like this complete process where the student get like on board during the summer. We monitor the summer internships, and at the end they did like a presentation of the work. So the summer 2023, we were able to have like these different 9 companies that help us like to host these students out of the 15 that we have during the cohorts. Okay, this is some of the posters that the students presented at the end. So this student did an internship at Fabra. Fabra is a company that is developing 3D printers. So the students did the internship over there. We have another student that did an internship inside St. Mary's, working with one of our professors in biology. So she developed like this poster from her research. So in conclusions, I don't like to write a lot about our conclusions, but is to see our MBC students, so Megan and Anne-Marie, and then see them like a transferring to St. Mary's University, inviting them for the lunch sections, doing like a Fridays afternoon events with them here, and also for them like to be able like to see what happened on research in our institutions. So this is some of the conclusions about why the students wanted to be in Fuerte, opportunities for practical experience, good advice from the PI and other faculty about the benefits, ability to earn money by completing an internship. So this is very important for the students. We pay them $20 the hour to be able for them not to go to the food industry or to the services industry. Just they can make very good money by doing an STEM internship. And also we provide like a housing opportunities at St. Mary's University, even for the students at the community college. They can move here during the summer and be able to have the housing secure. Help the students who lack resources, also networking in the field, and so on. Also, we can see how our cultural responsive events help our faculty to engage better in the classroom. So when people ask me about the conclusion, this is my main conclusion, because people ask me like, why you're doing this for Latinx students. So what I mentioned is, if we serve our Latinx student population well, we will serve all our students well. This is Emmanuel Ibsuki. He's a mechanical engineering. He graduated from one of my programs from Connect, and now he's doing a PhD in aerospace in Arizona. And she's Bradley Perkins, a senior, which spent last summer at Los Alamos National Lab. So again, if we do well for our Hispanic students, we will do well for all our students. So with this, I'm finishing up my 15 minutes. This is my email. Thank you. And if you have any questions, anything that you want to know about the cultural responsive, degree articulations, everything that we're doing, please feel free to contact me.
Dr. COREY-RIVAS, are you ready?
Yes, sorry, I was waiting. All right. Well, make sure okay. Thank you so much for having me here. And I'm so excited to share with you some of our results coming out of a 5-year project we're in year 4 of. And this is a HSI grant with NSF called STEM here at New Mexico Highlands University. And I'm the lead PI, Sarah COREY-RIVAS. And then we have some co-PIs in the forestry and biology departments. And we also have co-PIs in education research at University of Nebraska-Lincoln. So, and our activities director here at Highlands as well. So it's a big team for a 5-year project. And what I want to share with you today is a little bit about Highlands and how we're implementing some really good practices we know about in a new kind of learning environment, and what we've found out so far that might help with early retention of freshmen, sophomores in STEM majors. So Highlands, we're a public rural state HSI, an emerging Native American serving non-tribal institution. And we're in northern New Mexico, and we have about 1,600 undergraduates and about the same amount of master's students here. And this is just to get an idea of the students that we serve here. We are my majority minoritized student population here. And this program that I'm going to talk about addresses student success in biology, forestry, and conservation management majors, which are the majority of our students. So our team is made up of all of our co-PIs and senior personnel. full-time activities director. And then we actually also employ student leaders near peers. So these are some of our student leaders who have helped us as well. And our this program, the NSF program we're running, is a 5-year program we started in 2020 in the pandemic. So I'll share with you a little bit about how that's been going. And but our main goal is to increase persistence of minoritized or underrepresented students in the life sciences majors at Highlands through early and integrated, place-based, and culturally informed experiences with our local STEM research community in our area, and that are shaped by near-peer and agency partnership experiences. So I'll talk about a little bit about all of this. And yes, these are all of our students highlighted in our pictures. So the main challenge that our grant is meant to address is that we certainly have, I think, nationally issues with retaining students in STEM majors. And this is just one of our cohorts from a little while ago, but I think it's pretty classic that from our first year freshmen to the second year, we see a dramatic drop in retention. And from there to the third year, it's even more dramatic. So this is the problem that we wanted to address. And certainly it's not a student problem, it's an institution problem. So we wanted to know what we could do better. And we're focusing on that transition from lower level to upper level coursework and how we can better support students. So I just wanted to say there are so many wonderful studies in education research helping us understand really dynamic practices that we can use, we can implement. And so we were looking at this wonderful kind of mosaic of all these available practices. And our question was, how can we contextualize this with serving this at a Hispanic serving institution? And so some of the background stuff that we pulled in for our grant include a persistence framework. So what kind of learning framework can we use that helps to support students building a sense of science identity, helping support their motivation, their confidence. And this can be through learning contexts like learning communities, active learning practices in the classroom, integrating research in the classroom. And then one of our key things that we turn to are cures, which are course-based undergraduate research experiences, putting real research in the classroom. And we know already that that promotes inclusion, identity development, and motivation. And we also wanted to know how internship programs, early bridge programs, like short summer programs, might be integrated at Highlands. And we know already that those help promote peer learning, help with mentorship, community, belonging, promoting student creativity and cultural connection. Just such a rich range of things to choose from and put into our curriculum. So what we chose to focus on in SOMO STEM is the psychosocial attributes that students can strengthen and that might help with persisting in STEM. So we focus on science identity, sense of belonging, and self-efficacy in a kind of a learning environment that includes the community around us. So we already know that to do well in college, individuals have to perceive college as an extension of who they are, where they come from, and how they see themselves enacting successful college-going behavior. And this is without sacrificing a sense of culture and value, the values of their community. So this is stuff we know, and we wanted to know, how do we apply this at our kind of institution? And so we had some capacity building objectives for this grant. We're focusing first on biology and forestry, and that just seemed like it's the majority of STEM students that we have right now. So we're trying some new programming out on this chunk of the curriculum, and then we'll see how we can expand and institutionalize these practices. But we wanted to improve retention, early retention, and for freshman to sophomore and sophomore to junior year. We also wanted to have agency partners and local scientists complete some equity inclusion training, culturally responsive training, so that when they accept our students into internships, they've had that training. And then we wanted faculty as well to have that training, which I'll get into. So our program is kind of extensive, but I'll step you through it. So we have curriculum changes that we've done. We put cures in freshman and sophomore classes, the core science classes in forestry and biology. And then we have a stepping stone to a fellowship program, which takes the place of a bridge program. It's during the academic year, and students can do co-curricular and extracurricular work in groups and with the community. And then from there, they may choose to go on to an internship in our program, which is a full summer internship with an agency partner and with orientation week. And actually those students in internships then come back and help us build new course-based research experiences, cures. And so that's the curriculum piece that we've been working on. And then we added in a lecture series. So we have local science leaders talking to students about their work. It's very applied, very job-based. And with faculty, we have culturally responsive teaching workshops that faculty go through before they teach cures. They also, with agency partners, also go through culturally responsive mentorship training. And we've also included some workshops on cure pedagogy itself. And in parallel to all this, we have the University of Nebraska research team trying to understand, as in each of these stages of the curriculum, how do students do in terms of their psychosocial skill development, their science identity, belonging, efficacy, feelings as they go through this program. So we want to know which pieces of this work well, how well do they work, and for whom. And so just to tell you a little bit about our particular flavor of cures that we do, we are focused on using a cure model. So in other words, real research goes into the classroom at the freshman, sophomore level, and it must involve a community partner. It has to be relevant to the world around us and people out in the real world. And these could be short, 1 or 2 lab experiments that students do, but usually it's 5 to 6 weeks of lab. And to this, we've specifically added that the projects have to be local. They have to involve our community partners who have been trained in culturally responsive mentorship. We have a template for our cures that include reflection questions and time for students to reflect on connections with research, with their culture, family, and place. And then we include intern authors on our cures. So students help co-author all of these cures. And it provides a diversity of voices and lenses and culturally informed experiences that don't just come from faculty developing those. And so this is our plan. And this is because we love internships, but we wanted to reach a broader group of students. And we know that not all students can go into an internship, or we may have already lost them from the science major by the time they can do one. So far, what we know from this, we have one of the intern built cures that we're using in classes, and I'll show you that in a moment. We have another 5 prototypes that interns have built that we're working on adopting with faculty. As we were gearing up to get these intern built cures, we also had faculty building cures. And so with those, we had student leaders and your peers go through and edit and revise their cures to reflect student interests and voices. And then along with that, we have the majority of our, we don't really have a lot of adjunct instructors here. So it's full-time instructors who go through culturally responsive teaching pedagogy training. And so we have a majority of people who have gone through, and anyone who teaches a cure has gone through that. And so, for example, last year, the impact of this, we had 7 introductory courses with 9 faculty teaching them. And we reached 167 freshmen and sophomores with this programming. So just an example of some of the cures that we've developed in our library that are freely available for faculty to use and adopt and change are these, and two of them, this first one, post-fire ecological restoration. This is the student-built one from scratch, and also their post-fire rangeland rapid assessment. They built that one. So we have a variety, and they keep changing as people adopt them. But just to give you a sense of what it means for an intern to build their own cure, we give them a template. This is a poster template. Interns at the end of their summer collaborated on this poster, and they developed what they thought was the most important thing from their internship that freshmen should get to experience and know. And so this is the project they came up with, including the social cultural connections, community connections that they discovered during the summer. And so we just taught this last fall, myself and another instructor, and we had 50 students in our classes. And we also went to the National Wildlife Refuge, so we worked with Fish and Wildlife Service and the Hermit's Peak Watershed Alliance. So just an example of trying to adopt cures to our own needs at Highlands University. We also have an internship program, and so in this picture I'm showing you, this is what students came up with. This is their Padlet collage of what they did over the summer. So we asked them, when did you feel like you belong here? What were your interests versus the agency interests, the place where you worked? When did you feel like you were being a scientist? What are some of the cool tech skills, which is the self-efficacy thing? And so this is the kind of stuff that students put together at the end of their internship. And so we recruit students from the CURE classes, and they have the opportunity as freshmen, sophomores, juniors to join the internships. They have a week of professional development where they form a cohort and they have that peer support. They do 7 weeks in the internship, and they're paired. They have at least 2 to 4 students per internship so that they're not alone and they can talk to each other about it. And then they come back for a week in July and develop a new cure. And again, the agency partners are required to go through culturally responsive mentorship training. And then the students check in with a faculty mentor every week. And so I just want to note there was one other piece to this puzzle that we're still working on, the summer bridge, which is the intermediate step between a student doing a cure in class and committing to a full summer internship. So we were going to have them for 2 weeks in the summer, but unfortunately, we had the pandemic, and we had the largest fire in state history in 2022 right at our back door. So this part of the program doesn't work. And so we're redesigning it as a co-curricular and extracurricular program during the academic year. And so we'll have more to say about that in a year or so. But I just wanted to mention at the end here a little bit about the education research side of our work. So we're implementing this all this curricular change and professional development, but we want to know which pieces have what impact on student psychosocial success, right? Which is the basis of all success, probably, as we understand it in STEM. So, and to make a clear point about this, research tells us what factors matter in helping students persist in STEM, right? We know that, but what we don't necessarily know well is whether and how a whole collection of integrated practices make a difference. So we're looking at the environment of the learning environment that we're creating rather than the interventions individually. And this is work with our co-PIs from the University of Nebraska, Dr. Elvira Brica and Dr. Daryl Hatch-Tokaimaza. And so I'm just going to focus on one of their, I'm sorry, this is so wordy. I'm going to focus on the second part here, because this is a mixed methods 5-year longitudinal study they're doing. And the results I'm going to show you are from the qualitative side of this. And we want to know what mechanisms of our community research and activities are actually helping to support students developing science identity, belonging, and self-efficacy. And so, so far in this study, we have 196 student participants, and we've run 9 focus groups. We have 36 participants where we've done detailed interviews with, and this is Dr. Abrika who does all the qualitative work here. And this is in a paper that we just submitted, so it's under review. But we're excited, this is our first paper. But Dr. Abrika, one of the main things that she's put together is she looked at our curriculum changes and how they fit into a culturally engaging campus environments model. And so we can go through this checklist and see, you know, what kinds of things we're doing and if they fit the indicators for the CC model. And so these are our cures, our internship, our community voices, local scientist lecture series, and how faculty are engaged. And what she's finding so far is that the curriculum changes in our activities are meeting a lot of the indicators of a culturally engaging campus environment. And so that's just so you can see some of the ways that she's scoring these and coding them. And so just to pull out some of her qualitative stuff at the end here, what kinds of things are the cures helping with in terms of keeping students in the transition from lower to upper level coursework? So she said, for example, in one of her interviews with a student, that the student felt like with the CURE experience, he felt like a leader who was called to answer questions and use technology. And he described a CURE using technology of looking at DNA of local animals, determining whether they were a cattle or a wild bison hybrid. And he repeatedly described that being entrusted to use technology to make decisions about real-world problems, that he felt like a scientist and a leader. So we're getting at these things. And I'll say, if you're not familiar with a qualitative research background, I think the point is that we're looking for nuanced ways that our curriculum might be affecting students. So new things that we didn't know might happen. So, and I'll skip ahead because it's time to go. But another main finding was that in the faculty involved have been validating agents for students as they try on new things and build their sense of identity. So I think in conclusion, what we'd say is, you know, we've engaged community partners in this process, and it can be a short or a long-term engagement. I think that's important. You know, we'll take whatever community partners can do. And we've challenged the STEM faculty to up their game in creating a new curriculum that's community-based and culturally responsive. And we're working at the freshman and sophomore level. And also our team that implemented this grant, I want to say that it's important at a small university that we have a full-time director who can be responsive in a pandemic, in a fire, to helping us keep our programming going. So that's all I have to say, and thank you so much for listening.
Thank you very much, Dr. COREY-RIVAS and Dr. Ocampo. Could you please add one more information in your summary about what are the biggest takeaways from your presentations? Could you please tell us about it?
Do you want me to start, Sarah? Okay, so I will take 3 of them. The first one is, when you best serve your Hispanic and Latinx students, you are serving well all your population, all your students. So I mentioned that's one of them. The second one is make partners in your school. Find allies in different departments. Find people that advocate for you, and find people that will work with you. starting from students to staff, faculty, and administration, in order to get like all your ideas and all your goals moving through the approval process. And the last one that I would like to mention is get your students involved in all the design of, even if you are writing your grant, like when you're writing your grant, like have conversation with the students, where are we lacking? Have your students involved, like when you are executing your grant and when you're having your meetings. So the main takeaway is have your students included. We are doing this for them. So this is not just our faculty and administration. We need to get the students involved.
Yeah, and on our end, I'd say the biggest thing was letting students help develop the curriculum and really listening to them is such a critical way of integrating truly culturally responsive teaching practices. So we have students close the loop and bring back what they know. So when they come back from internships, have them teach. And then I think with agency partners, being flexible and having a key person to help coordinate and do logistics and introduce people is really helpful for faculty to lower the barrier to bringing them into the classroom. Yeah, and we freely share curriculum changes with each other, and we build on them, and they evolve as we go.
Well, excellent. Thank you so much for presenting for us today, and thank you everyone in the audience for attending another successful webinar. And next month on, I believe it's March 1st, will be our final webinar for this series. So we look forward to seeing many of you again next month.
Can
Thank you
everybody
all so
please
much.
answer the survey?
And answer the survey if you have a chance, please. Thank you.